Hi guys, Zaki with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. This is a casted game of a match on the Hills of Ice. It's a 3v3 top v bottom, and in the top left we've got John Super. You can see starting with the barracks and out, and he's playing as the Allies. In the top middle we've got, I'm going to call him Met because I'll probably absolutely butcher his name, a common the Hills of Ice player. And you can see him starting and getting that kennel out early on. And we can see in the top right, as orange, is Mankind. He's not building a barracks, so that's quite a risky start, especially when you're playing in the top right, and he's playing as the Soviets. And in the bottom right, we've got Jancy, who's playing as the Allies. And you can see a pretty standard start in terms of buildings. I would like to get that ore refinery a bit closer to the ore. And in the middle, we've got Orgun playing as the Soviets. And you can see him getting dogs out nice and early. They're very, very important in this map. And you can see in the bottom left position, Martin also playing as the Soviets and also getting a lot of dogs out. And to be honest, I think Martin's went a bit overkill on the dogs because I like to build about 12. I think that's just a happy balance because if you build too many dogs, it costs a lot of ore and it does hurt your start. So usually I like to just produce about 12 and put them in all the key positions. And you can see Orgun spreading his dogs out, getting them at all the entry points from the middle. So for those of you who don't know this map, there's these civs that you can see running through from the middle now. And they do a lot of damage if they get to your base. They have nukes and Tesla and stuff like that. But the dogs are the counter because they eat them. So whenever you play a Hills of Ice match, you'll always see each team, top and bottom, will always have at least one Soviet player. Really, I think the best is to have one Soviet on bottom and top, and then to have two Allied players. Because another thing that's really important in this map is control of the water. And we can see now Red coming with the infantry up to the top. So he's going for an attack on Orange, who's playing as the Soviets. And I think he might have a bit of visibility on his base because Orange didn't have any infantry at the start. So we'll have to see what he's going to do about that flame tower, because that flame tower will absolutely shred those infantry if they get close to it. And you can see it's not close enough to the gap. And Jancy's able to get those troops around the outside. We'll have to see what he's going for because they're into the base now. Are they going to go for the ore refinery? They're going to go for the construction yard. Is it going to be enough? And it looks like it. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough there. You can see that Mankind has those infantry now and they're able to block those troops. Now, if those troops had come up at the start, then Mankind would have been in big trouble because he didn't build that barracks until later, until he got that ore refinery out. And you can see now, so Mankind survived that attack, and you can see him with a large power plant. So is he going to go for Tesla? You can see that Jancy is building up those light tanks, and this could be trouble for Mankind early on. And you can see Mech's base is undergoing an attack from civs. They'll be able to clear that up, but that was a bit of a misplay there. And you can see those light tanks coming up now. And the Tesla's just up in time. And the Tesla, we'll have to see what the Tesla does. Is he going to destroy it? Because that Tesla will just fire on those light tanks and destroy them. Because Tesla's very, very strong against light tanks. And you can see that Tesla was up just in time, just before Jancy entered the base. And those light tanks are now going to be able to do minimal damage. What Jancy might have needed is medium tanks because they're a little bit stronger against base defences, although Tesla's still strong against anything. And you can see those infantry destroying that last tank. I think he was going for the power plant, but Mankind was able to produce another large power plant while he was in the base. And I'm just having a look here what's going on. We can see Mech now getting some of those heavy tanks together. We'll have to see if he's going to go for an attack or just going to defend. We can see that John Super has got that information centre out, and you can see he's now getting gap generators to help keep his base hidden, and that's a good thing because you can see Orgun is now starting to build planes. We could see a spy plane going across the top of the map there. And I'm just having a look around this map at the moment. You can see all those civs in the middle. That's why it makes it hard to attack early on, because your tanks need to go through those civs. And we'll have a look at Orange now. Orange is starting to build up a heavy tank force. But what we can see is Jancy is starting to get a navy. And that's the big thing. If you play in the top right, you'll hardly ever see someone play Soviets in that position, because it's just so susceptible to the naval of allies. Because Soviet submarines just are no match against destroyers. So you can see Jancy's going to have a massive advantage there. Another thing that Jancy also has is map visibility over Orange's base, because they've had that lighter tank attack. So once Jancy is able to build cruisers, Jancy's going to be able to see the whole of Mankind's base, and that's going to be that could be devastating. And you can see, I think, John Super there bringing some tanks over to Mankind's base just to defend against any attacks. But I think Mankind's got plenty of Tesla there for any tank attacks. And I'm just having a look around here. One thing I'll say about Jancy, you can see all that bare ore close to the base. What people usually like to do is like to spread the ore trucks out just to be more conservative with the ore. And you can see Mech now going for an attack down the left side of the map. And you can see the civs taking out some of those tanks, doing a bit of damage there. And I was just having a look at the visibility there for them, and you can see they'll be able to, just to see if they had satellite. And you can see now going for an attack on the ore refinery. And we'll have to see if they can get it down. But you can see Orgun's noticed. He's bringing plenty of heavy tanks in. He'll have enough heavy tanks to like sort of defend, but that ore refinery has gone down. And now it looks like he'll lose the rest of his tanks because there's not enough to do any further damage. So it's going to lead to a little bit of an inefficiency from Orgun, but I think overall the defence was very successful. He's not going to be able to do any further damage. I was just checking there. Orgun doesn't have full visibility yet of the map, but Red has got the information centre, so the bottom of the map will be getting satellite at some point. And able to defend there. But you can see now Jancy has the cruiser, and this is bad news for Mankind because his base is completely visible. Even though they haven't got satellite, they can still see Mankind's base. So we'll have to see is Jancy going to bring those ships up and start dealing a load of damage, because I think that's the intention. And this could be very, very bad for the top team if they lose the top right position, because what tends to happen sometimes is teams will bring MCVs from the bottom of the map to that top right position if they're able to gain control of the water. And we can see John Super bringing some tanks down, and we'll have to see if they're going for the attack or whether they're just for defence. I'm just having a look at his base now, and you can see how he's expanded those gap generators all over his base, and that's quite a good thing for them at the moment, because Orgun does have planes. And you can see now Mech going for another attack. He's going down the middle of the map. We'll have to see if the bottom team are able to respond. There's not too many tanks there, so I don't know how effective this is going to be. And you can see Orgun coming with the tanks to defend. He's also got those planes going out to attack different players. And you can see now John Super joining Mech in the attack. But they're in sort of a difficult position here with the Tesla, with the civs behind them. And that Tesla doing a lot of damage to them. So they're in a bit of a difficult spot there. And Orgun is able to clear those tanks up, no problem. They weren't able to get into the base. And now you can see that Jancy is shredding Mankind's base. You can just see there's nothing he can do. Those power plants have been taken out. He's got no construction yard, so he can't rebuild anything. And now Mankind is going on the attack. So we'll have to see, does Jancy have enough to hold on here? Because you can see, in terms of tank numbers, Mankind's got the superior ones. So you can see Orgun's trying to do some attacks there, but you can see Mech building the rocket soldiers, which are able to take out planes. We'll have to see how is Mankind going to be able to break through. He's got heavy tanks, V-light tanks and medium tanks. And it looks like he's got the better tank numbers, but it depends. Is he going to be able to overcome the tracking issues in this narrow right-hand side of the map? It's kind of a race against time for Mankind at the moment. He's just trying to do as much damage as he can. And the question is, Can he get into Jancy's base? And is he going to be able to cause any damage before he's wiped out? You can see now he's defeated Jancy's army of tanks. And now we'll have to see what he goes for. So he's going for the war factory, so Jancy can't build any more tanks. We can see Orgun is sending some troops in to the bottom right in order to give some support to his teammate. And Orgun now is pulling those tanks back while he focuses, I think, on the bottom right position. Yeah, you can see those tanks are quite damaged, and those tanks are now going to go to the top part of the map through the top middle. You can see, but the thing is, Meg's got a Tesla there. And you can see the gap generators there, and John Super moving his MCV away. And I think those tanks are going to be made short work of. And you can see, in the bottom right, Mankind was trying to go for the construction yard, but Orgun was able to defend there, helping Jancy out. Which was a big thing there, because Jancy, if he'd lost his construction yard, I don't know if he'd built a service depot, so he might not have been able to build another one. And you can see now John Super and Mech are going to be able to defend from these tanks. You can see they're trying to go into the top right position now and destroy those ore refineries. But I think Mankind now is pretty much out of the game, and Orgun just sending a few those planes just to destroy the last remaining buildings, I think, of Mankind. And we can see his ore refineries, his ore refineries, his war factories, they're all gone now. But we can see that Mech and John Super, they still have a lot of tanks at the top of the map. And you can see this looks like it could be a big attack from Mech. So we'll have to see how this goes. But what's happening here is Jancy's got those boats, and those destroyers are doing loads and loads of damage to Mech's tanks. And also, after that, Mech's tanks are getting attacked by civs. So you can see that big army, and Orgun's got those tanks in defence. And you can see those tanks are being absolutely shredded. So it was a big army, but as soon as it gets to the bottom, the amount of damage that's been done, you can see a lot of those tanks on red and orange now. Health. And they seem to be cleared up. They're trying to go for the bottom right position, but first of all, they get attacked by Jancy's boats. They then get attacked by civs, and then they get attacked by Orgun's tanks. And this has been a disastrous attack for Mech. He's lost a lot of tanks there and got really very, very little benefit. And that was, he's lost a lot of tanks there. And that is very, very significant, because those tanks could have been used later on. But yeah. And you can see now Martin even, it played as green, building Tesla tanks. So that's something you don't see very often. Tesla tanks. The thing about Tesla tanks is they do a lot of damage, but they have very low hit points, so that it destroyed very easily. And you see Orgun destroying some of those civs at the bottom of the map. Usually what I do is when I go on my first attack, I just destroy all the civs down the side, just so when I go up in the future, I'm not going to be attacked. And we can see Martin taking 2 Tesla tanks up, but 2 Tesla tanks isn't going to be able to do anything, and John Super has plenty of tanks to defend. Tesla tanks are usually very weak on their own as well. Because of the low hit points, if you're going to use Tesla tanks, what you need to do is you need to have them behind heavy tanks or behind mammoth tanks, where the tanks at the front can take the damage. And now you can see that Jancy is bringing those ships up to the top here, and those tanks that Mech's got are going to be in range, so we'll have to see. I'm pretty sure Mech's going to need to pull those tanks back, because they're going to take a lot of damage from those ships and cruisers. And you can see him realising and taking those tanks back. And now what I would do if I was in this position is I'd start trying to take MCVs to the top part of the map, because you can see they've got plenty of defence at the moment at the top part of the map. But yeah, once you lose that water, and also what I would do is I'd try and take the water on the left side of the map as well, and that would put the top of the map in a real difficult position. You can see now Mech, he's got 6 planes, and yeah, we can just see it's quite well defended actually from planes, because you can see John Super at the top of the map has got those gap generators all over. And now you can see Mech bringing those tanks down, and we'll have to see, is he going to go for the attack, or is he just going to stand, is he just using them for defense? Right, so you can see that Mech is taking the planes down, and he's gone for the construction yard. And I'm just having a look now, and what I'm seeing is no defense. They've got no defense against planes at the moment at the bottom of the map. There's no... Yeah, they've got nothing. They've not even got rocket troopers. So we'll have to see what Mech's able to do here, because there's absolutely no defense for the time being. And you can see, Orgun looks like he's doing something with his tanks. But the visibility... and you can see now going for the ore refinery. And I'm not sure that Orgun's got any... Well, he's got a barracks there, so he needs to build rocket troopers quickly. But you can see now Mech going for the tank attack down the right-hand side. So not only are they having to defend against planes, they're having to defend against a tank attack. And this could be very bad. This could be really bad, because you can see that Jancy doesn't have enough tanks there. And you can see paratroopers going for the information centre. And you can see Jancy now will have no visibility on the map at all. And this is devastating. And you can see John Super now taking the tanks down from the top of the map as well. And suddenly it's looking very, very bad. And Orgun has left the game. He said no thanks. I think he was just losing his... I think he must have lost his other construction yard. And he's realised that the team have no defence against these MiGs. And you can see a load of civs coming from the middle. And we can see that Jancy does have an extra MCV, but I think that MCV is going to go down very, very shortly. And that MCV is destroyed. And you can see a load of civs coming down right now. Martin needs to bring his tanks across, but he hasn't noticed. And you can see a load of those civs coming into the base, and they can do a major damage. Unfortunately for the top team, though, is some of their tanks have got in a bit of a battle here. We're going to see, is there going to be an explosion? I think that's a nuke civ. And he's blown up at taking 2 ore refineries and all those rocket soldiers. So I think you can see now, I think there's no coming back from this. You can see that Red's base is almost completely destroyed. He's got no war factories, no construction yard, no ore refinery now, and it's good game for him. And I don't think there's anything that Green can do. The top of the map is just too well defended, and they've got just too many tanks in the bottom part of the map. You can see him building some Tesla tanks at the bottom there, but Tesla tanks aren't the best tanks in this position. And you can see there's some movement, I think, for Martin there, but you can see this bottom right side of the map has just been completely decimated from those civs and from the tanks. And you can see John Super bringing a sizable force. But you can see now Martin's going for the counter-attack. But I don't think he's got enough tanks here to do this. And it's also a bad part of the map to attack, because it's like a real bad bottleneck. And we can see there's just nothing that Martin can do. I think those tanks are going to be made pretty light work of, even though they're heavy tanks and Tesla tanks, because that part of the map is just a very hard part to defend from. And even if he is able to get through these tanks here, there's not much he's going to be able to do in the main part of the map. You can see Mech with some other defensive tanks, but they are going to be taken out in this small location. And the tides have turned completely. It looked like the bottom of the team were in a really strong position when they took the water on the right side of the map and defeated that right team. But after Mech built those MiGs, it's completely changed the game, with the bottom teams having no air defences whatsoever. And sometimes when you get into these games, when you get about 15 minutes into the game, you just need to be wary that the other team might get MiGs and they might do an attack. I know I'm guilty of not building air defences quite often, but sometimes it's very helpful, especially if you're playing a longer game like this. And you can see those Tesla tanks probably aren't the best tanks to be defending. But yeah, they needed to capitalise on the water as well. Maybe bring some MCVs to the top right. That's probably what I would have tried to do. And you can see, and also get control of the left side. So that's a good game. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.